Welcome back. Today we are going to be replacing fork seals on the KLX250S. I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, hey Dave, you already replaced fork seals on the KLX250S, but guess what? This fork seal, or this fork right here, is leaking like crazy. So we are going to do an individual fork replacement. We are just replacing this fork seal. So I went, this has been a big ordeal. First time I replaced it, I messed it up. Second time, Rocky Mountain ATV sold me the wrong part for my KLX250S. So now we need to go back and get another fork seal kit. We're also going to get a Bushings kit because I think that was the issue with my initial replacement, and we're going to do it again. So last time it was a 45-minute video. This time we're going to cut down on the time, make it a little bit easier, make it a little bit simpler, so you can know how to replace your fork seals on the KLX250S and hopefully not have any leaks like I did. Okay, so how do we do that? Well, first we need to loosen up the pinch bolts. We need to remove this cover. I only have two little 8mm right here, and then we pull out the axle. Once we're done with that, we will be able to slide out this fork seal. But before you do that, remember, we need to loosen this top section. So there's a little bleed screw on top, flat screwdriver. I'm gonna loosen the bleed screw, pull that out entirely, and then we are going to loosen this nut on top. We're going to use our massive giant wrench for that. And then once we're done with that, then we can take off these triple clamp bolts. There's 3 of them, 1, 2, 3. And then we can slide out the fork. So that's going to be the plan. Let's go do this. A couple things we need for this build. We need our trusty torque wrench that we can remove the axle with. 10, 12 millimeter sockets, our big crescent wrench so we can pull out off that top piece, a couple of socket wrenches, flathead screwdriver, some fork oil. Obviously you need a fork kit that works. We're gonna have to go grab our fork seal kit. We do not have it yet. So we're gonna cut halfway through this, we're gonna grab our fork seal kit, and then we're gonna go put it together. Great, awesome. All right, let's get started. So, like I said in the intro, first things first, we are going to remove the 8mm bolts holding this plastic cover on. The bolts have been removed and the plastic cover has been cleaned up. I like to put the bolts back in so I don't forget where they came from. Now we need our 10mm bolts for the pinch bolt. It's nice and loose. Now we need to get this up on a stand before we're ripping apart anything else, so let's go ahead and do that. I do not have a sweet stand for my bike, but I'm going to try to put it on a cinder block because it seems like it'd be high enough and it'd work pretty well. Okay, we've got it on the cinder block. I put a little something under here so it wouldn't rock forward, but we're going to go ahead and take off the front wheel now. Once we get the front tire off, now we have access to the fork. First thing we're going to do on the fork is pull off this little bleed screw. Now we need to loosen these. So we're going to loosen all 3 of these, and then we're going to slide it down a little bit, and then we're going to tighten it back up just so we can get this top piece undone, because I don't have a clamp to hold it. All right, those are plenty loose. Now we need to loosen this one right here. One thing you probably want to do is make sure that you're holding onto your fork or something just in case the fork decides to slip out on you. Mine is generally pretty tight and never does anything like that, so that's plenty loose. The fork should be coming loose right about now, but it's so stiff still. So because I have an incredibly stiff fork, what I can do is I can actually shove something up into this crack and then twist. A lot of times I'll just take this bolt completely out so I can get my flathead screwdriver in there. Take that bolt out, and I'll just mash it up in here, give it a little twist. And what this will do is provide enough relief on the clamp. There we go. And I can start to work my fork out. See, I can twist it now. Okay, I'm gonna work my fork down a little bit. Okay, remember, I'm not coming all the way down. Actually gonna tighten these back down because I need to loosen this piece still. So do not take your fork out unless you have a clamp to hold it till you've loosened the top piece, or else it's gonna be a beast to get off. So I'm just gonna tighten these down just a hair, not too much. Now I can finally get my ridiculous crescent wrench in there. You probably have a wrench that actually fits it. I don't. And all I needed to do was to break it loose. And I didn't have a lot of room to move it up there. And from there, I'm just gonna twist this sucker out. And your fork should slip right out. There you go. Hopefully by this point we've loosened the top enough that we can actually take it off. Let's try this, see if that worked. It did. Sweet. That pops down. Now, here's the part that I get a little, I have some questions about. All right, now we got our 16mm wrench and we need to loosen this nut on the inside. This is a little tough. All right, once you break that, just pull this down, get the tension off of it, and then loosen this. Whew. You have that piece, which goes right there. Then you have this piece, which is covered in oil, the coil. Great. Let's go ahead and dump this out. So this is brand new oil. And you can pump it to get the rest of the oil out of there. So we're gonna do a few pumps just to let the oil come out. There's a bunch of oil just floating in here. Okay. I'm having suction. That's hilarious. All right, now what we need to do is pry off this dust seal cover. Normally dust seal covers are a little difficult to take off, but because this one doesn't even fit, it's super easy. And then on the inside, there's always this little piece right here that needs to be taken off. Popped right out. Now, do not scratch your fork when you take the retaining clip off. And we got a little bit of oil coming out the bottom. And then from here, oh gosh, from here, you've got this seal that's just sitting in there. What we want to do is we want to pop the seal out. So what we can do is we can just give it a couple of love taps, and it should come right out. Let's put this over the oil. Maybe. That was kind of tough to get off. Yeah, these are the seals and bushings we need to replace. So what we can do to get this bushing off is just do a little twist with our screwdriver. So we'll take out this bushing, and then the flat one comes out first. Then we have this one that's going to be hitting the seal. This one comes out. Then we're going to take the seal itself off. We have to worry about these sharp edges when we're putting the new one on. We do not have to worry about it with the old seals because the old seals are old and broken. We're just gonna rip it off. So let's go get some more fork oil and let's go get some more seals and dust covers and bushings so we can actually finish the job. All right, guys, we're back. We picked up a fork seal kit, Pivot Works, part number 102-097-0055. This is a Pivot Works fork kit for the KLX250S. This works for the 06 all the way through the 2020 version. The only thing I have to protect this is a little piece of painter's tape to protect the fork seal. So we're gonna go ahead and do that. We've got our fork oil. We also have our old fork oil. This stuff really has never been used, which is hilarious. So I'm going to use this to lube up the fork seals. So this little ring right here, see that ring right along there? It's going to be facing downward. I think I want to protect it right here as well. It's kind of a sharp edge. So if you don't have the tool, just get some painter's tape, throw it on there. Shouldn't be too big of an issue. Look at that. I put 2 dust seals on, silly me. It went on really easily and I was wondering why. That's new. That's new. Okay. Now remember kids, don't put on 2 dust seals. Remember to open up the fork seal, put on the fork seal. So that ring right here is going to be facing downward. Then you're going to have an inner ring, which is going to hold all this in place. I'm going to cover this up too. I don't really like that. There we go. So the real seal is on. Ha ha. Yeah, that's funny. All right, so we have the dust seal, the actual seal, and we're going to have that ring, this bushing, that kind of just slips over everything. Clank. Then we have the locking bushing, which we will take all the tape off, put that on. That was pretty simple. Put the locking bushing on. Okay, we are GTG. In my previous video, I used tape to put it in. I think you should probably just get an actual seal driver. So this is a 43mm seal driver. And this is the first time I'm using it. So let's see if this thing actually works. This goes here. And then just kind of hammer it down. Okay, that's gonna be a little bit more aggressive. The sound changed just a little bit once it settled. Well, that worked extremely well. We're going to just slip it in. We'll just have it lock into place. And if you're having a really hard time with this, you may have the wrong seal. That's what happened to me last time. I had the wrong seal and it was so hard to put in. Click, click, click. That's in. Over 500, maybe 520, 530 milliliters. That's perfect. I don't think we need to wait for anything. I think we just dump it in. Oh man, that's looking, it's coming really high to the top. I'm gonna pump it a couple of times. See if I can get it to go down. There's a bunch of bubbles. It's definitely going back into something. Oh yeah. It's getting more difficult to pull in, pull out. And you can be negative 40 millimeters or positive 20 milliliters on this. What I hear. So we don't have to be perfectly on, but it's good to be pretty similar to what the other one is. What it looks like, so this this white thing, it's the liquid is essentially sitting right where this white thing is once you put it in there. You probably can't see that, but that's what's happening. I may put just a titch more in just so it covers the white, because I think that's what the other one was. But again, I don't know exactly how much the other one has. If we were doing both of these at the same time, that would be ideal, but that's hasn't happened. I'm pretty confident in this fork seal. I think it's going to be really great. So this nut has to be on top. We have to push this down. And this is the part that I do not know how to do like nicely. Okay, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to push sideways on it, and then this is going to go down, but the friction is going to keep it up. Hey, that's pretty good. And then, oh yeah, that's working pretty good. So I'm just pushing it sideways that way with my thumb, and I'm just holding it down. That works pretty well. But I need to keep this up as high as I can. Okay. Okay, now I need to put this piece back on. There we go. Okay, now the nut's starting to spin. Now we need our trusty 17 millimeter. Okay, we've got our 17 millimeter in place and our big one. Then we just tighten this down a little bit. Not even that tight. There we go, just thumb tight. Cool, it's back together. Now, let's close this up. Careful not to cross thread this once you put it back on. Honestly, that wasn't too bad. The first time I did it was so hard. Cool. Dust seal. Dust seal's on. Okay, we're good. Now we just put this back on. We need to finish tightening this once we get it back on. Okay, that feels good. Last thing, don't forget to put your little bleeder screw back in. Okay, now that we have the forks to the right length, we can work on the rest. So the moral of this story is, if you're going to do your forks, make sure you get a seal driver for how big your forks are. Again, these are 43 millimeter, so I had to get a 43 millimeter seal driver. Okay, making sure we're good. We're good. We're good. We're good. Okay, that's tightened down. Reverse everything, put everything back together, and we're done. Yeah, 65 foot-pounds. Three clicks, we're good. Tighten down the pinch bolts. Thanks for watching how I replaced my fork seals on my KLX250S. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.